Hello and welcome to sim.pc, where it right now is 18:06 in that evening, close to 7, yet again close to that 19 when I'm supposed to actually work. And today is actually quite of a big video, and most of you are gonna sit there and be like, what is it really? It's just, a regular video, isn't it? But no, today is actually the first video after I've actually been, telling some of my mates about that this channel kind of exists. The one that I've so crucially and gone so in depth by hiding from them for so very long. But now it's finally out there, and I'm a bit scared actually, because usually, and I've been trying to be in YouTube before, but usually, right, I haven't had one, this big of a commitment before, and two, there is a one-to-one relationship. There is a one-to-one correlation between what I'm telling me mates about that, I have a YouTube channel, and it kind of dies. So we're going to see if this will be able to, keep on going, even though I'm actually telling me mates that it exists. And all of their critique will be coming in, such like, you ain't funny, mate, or what are you doing, or get a real occupation, or apply for a real job. But I'm seeing this as kind of, as I've been stating before, initial training for me as well, with both the language and the editing skills and the marketing and the software and the stuff and so on and so forth. So there's so many things to learn, so I think that this time it's going to work. I hope, I believe in it. But you're soon going to see that that is kind of, it's kind of iffy, it's kind of true and not true as we're moving into today's topic. And we're of course going to continue with the little project that we're used to, no matter that me mates know that this channel exists or not. We're on a schedule, right? We're on track. So today we're going to talk about choose/convince investors. And that is all about, you are a founder, you're having your own idea, you're putting in the time, you're thinking that, oh my days, I found a gap in the market. You've been trying to utilize this idea, you've been trying to fix it so that it actually works with society. Hopefully that's your idea to begin with, but you're trying to cater it around your resources that you have. Now, let's just say that it has worked. You've been able to be successful, bringing up an idea, taking it, making it from an idea to an actual physical thing or to an actual applied service. And that is all good, all fine, mate. 2 thumbs fresh for you. But now you've come to the decision, or to the point where you will actually need some external financial support, some investment. And then you can either go to angel investors, you can go to venture capitalists, you can go to a bank, you can go to your family. There are many places to go, and tomorrow we're going to talk about raising funds as a party of one, which is kind of similar, but yet there is some differences. So choose/convince your investors. This is going to be all about who are you actually going to target with your investments, because depending on how great of an investment you need, you will be catering to a specific type of investor in your company. Depending on what you actually need to be invested in your company, you're also going to pick someone that might be a bit different. For instance, let's just say that money isn't the biggest thing in your company. Maybe you need someone with a bit more of an experience. Perhaps then the investor you're looking for is someone with previous experience within the field, within the industry. Perhaps you're looking for a former colleague, perhaps you're looking for new people who you don't have a previous connection to. I would argue that's kind of good, because then you can let them go if it doesn't work out and you don't hurt any existing relationships. And perhaps you can actually network a bit, but we've covered that in a previous video. But the idea is that it's not always the case that you need to gather investment in form of capital, in form of money. Sometimes you need the previous experience of other people to be drawn into your company. And as I said, you can do this by working on existing networking. You can try to network, try to explore and try to expose and try to, extend your already existing networking into other places so that you can get acquisitions of new people to take into your new business and use them as external investments in the company. But we also have the case of that sometimes that is that sweet cash that you need to get a hold of. And depending on how large of an extent, how great of an amount we're talking about, you're probably going to turn to a specific type of institution when it comes to the investment that you need. For instance, let's say, and we're talking euros here to be a bit international, yeah, even though I would prefer to talk in crowns, Swedish crowns, but whatever, catering to the international plane. Let's just say that you're looking for an investment that is around €1,000. perhaps it is reasonable, depending on your social status of course, that you can still go to your family when it comes to 1,000 euros. Perhaps if you're coming from a very rich background where you have people who really believe in your company and your idea, and they're saying you're a very motivated individual and we believe in you more than your idea, so we will actually give you even more money. Perhaps you can still go to your family and friends and ask for more money, but let's say around 1,000 euro you can still go to your family, and that will be all good, that would be all great. I would still argue that you should sign a bit of a contract, yeah, even if it's with your family, and you might say that's stupid, why would I, it's my family, what could happen? But when you usually mix friendship, family and money, sometimes, you know, sometimes it clashes. Sometimes they want back, sometimes they want to back out on their investment and their idea, sometimes you're shifting your idea, hence taking away their money, and these are people that you're probably still going to need to see. So that is kind of the backlash with going to people that you already know, working within your existing networking system. And I'm sorry if I'm a bit inconsistent here, but I'm just thinking about that Mimesa looking at this. So trying to wobble two ideas at the same time. Sorry, it didn't have anything at all to do with this subject, but the idea is that there are many different places that you can go depending on the amount that you would like to invest in, the investment that you would like to retract. So for instance, let's say that this is a higher amount, a greater amount of money that we're talking about. Perhaps instead of 1,000 euro, we're talking 10,000 euro, maybe 100,000 euro, maybe €1 million, depending on the volatility and the, well, what should we say, the potential growth of your project, your service, or your investment in question, and of course the payback as well. Perhaps then you need to cater yourself more towards a bank, a more of a formal institution that has the laws, that has the backing of actually you should to give out investments, are used to give out money in large quantities, and that will be able to do so to your profit, or rather to your projects, or in order for you to make profit, to give back to them. And maybe we're talking yet again over 1,000 euro, the 10,000, the 100,000, the million of euros. Yet again, you can talk about the idea that if you're going to a bank for investments, then you will need to, well, finalize some form of business plan that you can present. There will probably be more formal things that you need to provide to the bank in order to convince them. It's not just good with an elevator pitch. It's not just the pitch that is the in question here when it comes to convincing a bank. Sometimes it might be. I can say that I don't have that exact knowledge within it. I don't think that you will be able to go to a bank and just pitch your idea, whilst when you go to your family, and when it's about reasonably lower amounts, you probably can make it with a pitch and some sort of financial structure and motivation to why this could be a good idea. But when it comes to a bank, you probably need something that is a bit more, as I said, formal, something that is a bit more worked through work, and something that is generally accepted by the institution in question. For instance, let's say that you can't go to a bank and you can't go to your family. Maybe then you're looking for external things, and such things can be venture capitalist hedge funds, or not hedge funds maybe, but venture capitalists anyway, and angel investors. And these are people that generally sit and want to be a big part in the development of your company. They want to have a big influence in your startup, and they want to help you with, well, financial support if they believe in your idea, because they obviously think that there is a huge profit to be made here. And the difference between an angel investor and a venture capitalist, and yet again apply source critique to this, because it was a while since I actually studied this, but angel investors are more people that are very involved with your company, with your startup. They're going in there, they're backing it with their network, they're backing your idea and your project with money that they've gained from previous investments, that they've gained from previous ventures, and they try to help you as much as possible. And these people probably want to see the business grow and are not equally as focused on clear profit as they are in the development of the company. However, venture capitalists usually a big group of people, or rather a small group of people, but with a great amount of funds to their disposal, that will probably invest a lot in your project and say, we believe in this project, we see that it has potential, we believe in you, we're writing a contract, right, we're signing a contract, we want a part of the company, now we will help you grow it, we will connect you with the right kind of people, but it's still you who's probably going to interact with the company when it comes to the actual development and the operational levels on the on-floor production. However, we can point you in the directions to existing networking capital, and we can fund you in your ideas. However, when you reach that goal of your IPOs, your initial public offering, which they probably will push, they would probably like to strip the company and sell off their shares so that they actually make a profit. So there is kind of a difference there. And you will probably need to supply both an angel investor and a venture capitalist with the same form of documents that you would to a bank. Arguably, it will be harder to convince them actually when I'm thinking about it, because these are probably more selective people who are going to invest a greater amount of money in your company. Yet again, I've heard stories and read stories in course books and otherwise that says that these kind of people are looking more for the founder itself and someone that is really motivated in the project and not as much of the project itself. However, that is widely inconsistent depending on what source you are looking at. So money and experience are two things of the things that you actually can choose and convince investors with. Yet again, these formal academic thoughts, and that you are actually a motivated founder yourself. But then there is yet again the physical capital, because sometimes you can trade your service or your product for other people's products or other companies' products and services, and so on and so forth, and get going a bit of a trading game. Instead of trading with financial resources that you don't have, you trade with the things that you do have and try to work your way with investment that way and build a bit of networking. Yet again, networking is investment, and one can argue in the end of this video as we're closing up that, well, just going out and networking is actually choosing investment as well, because yet again, social investment in the sense of building a greater network will gain you in the long run, probably in the short run as well. And when it comes to convincing people to be part of your network and choosing the people that will be part of your network, you can try and target the people who have the right experience, target the people who have the right connections, or target people who have the right resources, and then try to convince them with your elevator pitch that we will be covering later in this series. So that was everything for me today, mate. Sorry if this yet again was rambly, but it's kind of a big thing for me. I'm a bit nervous. Haven't been this nervous since my 4th or 5th video, I think. Something around those lines. Because now people might actually log in and see what I'm talking about and what I'm doing, and they can yet again actually comment on this. And it's one thing when you see a mean comment online and you can be like, well, I don't really care that much. I'm doing what I love and I'm really liking doing it. I'm really passionate about it. But when someone comes along to your apartment, knocks on the door and says, hi mate, you want to hang out? And I'll be like, yeah, it's nothing, no worries. And they're saying, well, last video is kind of, what did you think there? And I'm like, what? Is it bothering you? Yeah, is it bothering you that I'm doing this? And they're like, yeah, it kind of was. You ain't even British, mate. And I'm like, no, I know I'm not. Sorry, sir. Stuff like that. Just passively things that will build up over time. So I'm a bit nervous today. Hopefully that didn't have too much great of an impact on the video. Have a nice one, mates. See you tomorrow with raising funds as a party of one. Have a nice one.